The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight. A politically correct explosion involving the statue of the 9/11 firefighters. You will not believe this controversy. Some conservative Americans are worried about Fox News hiring Geraldo and Greta Van Susteren. We'll hear why. How would Ralph Nader have handled the terrorism if he were president? We'll talk with Mr. Nader. And the producer of Black Hawk Down responds to charges of racism. Caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone. Factor begins in 90 seconds.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carol Iavana. Military medical personnel are getting ready to be dispatched to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. A medical unit from Camp Lejeune is being sent to help operate a hospital at the U.S. Naval Base, where 50 al-Qaeda and Taliban prisoners are being held. 500 Marines from North Carolina are already on duty at the Camp X-ray compound. Secretary of State Colin Powell will leave for Asia tomorrow. His first stop is Islamabad, where he will continue U.S. efforts to broker peace between India and Pakistan. And in the biggest crackdown of Islamic militants to date, Pakistan detained more than 1,000 people and prohibited 5 radical groups banned over the weekend from operating under new names. Back at home, New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg has asked the city to reject a plan to build 2 new baseball stadiums. The newly inaugurated mayor says the city cannot afford to construct the $1.6 billion Yankee and Mets stadiums. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani approved the deal 3 days before leaving office. Police have recovered actor Nicolas Cage's $100,000 collectible vintage Porsche from the bottom of a Missouri lake. Apparently, the thieves found Cage's name on the paperwork and decided the car was just too hot to handle. I'll have another update for you at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned now for the O'Reilly Factor, coming your way next on Fox News Channel.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thank you for watching us tonight. As promised, a report on my meeting with some of the nation's TV writers out in California. That's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Shepard Smith and I met with the critics on Saturday morning, and I must say most of them seem to be fair, but you never know until you see the articles. I made 3 main points. First, the print press has written tons of articles about NBC anchorman Brian Williams, but very little about Shepard Smith. Yet Smith murders Mr. Williams in the ratings. What's that all about? Nobody had an answer. I also told the writers that most times I see my name in print, there's an adjective in front of it. Blowhard, combative, acerbic, whatever. But the principal adjective used is conservative, as in the Boston Globe calling me a conservative hatchet man. Now, if you want to think I'm conservative, fine. But if you're going to label, then label everybody. Bill Moyers has agreed to do a new PBS program, but not one article called him the liberal Bill Moyers. Not one. Never have I seen the liberal Geraldo Rivera or the liberal Jeff Greenfield. I asked the critics why. Nobody had an answer. Then there's a National Public Radio. Almost every media writer has referred to the Fox News Channel as being a conservative network. But I've never seen an article calling NPR a liberal network, which it certainly is. And it uses taxpayer money to shove that view across and censor the opposition. Fox, on the other hand, consistently seeks out all points of view, including the conservative take on things. Since you rarely hear the right on the other established networks, of course Fox is going to seem tilted that way. But if you log it, just as much liberal opinion is presented here as conservative, and that's a fact, not an opinion. Anyway, those are my main points with the nation's TV writers. We'll see how the articles turn out. And a little later on The Factor, we'll report on why some conservatives are angry with the Fox hirings of Rivera and Van Susteren. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight. Major controversy over a statue dedicated to the firefighters who lost their lives on 9/11. Statue was originally intended to be a copy of this picture. 3 white firemen, Dan McWilliams, Greg Johnson, and Billy Eisengrine, raising an American flag over Ground Zero. A man named Bruce Ratner donated $180,000 for an 18-foot-high bronze sculpture to be put in front of a Brooklyn Fire headquarters. But the design was changed, apparently, by the New York City Fire Department, so that an African-American and a Hispanic appear with 1 white firefighter. 12 of the firefighters killed at the World Trade Center were black. The fire department would not tell us if any Hispanics were killed. The total death count for New York City firefighters is now 343. With us is Bill Kelly, the attorney for the 3 firefighters pictured in the original photo. First of all, why do the firefighters need an attorney?
Well, I just have to make one small correction there. The firefighter referred to as Greg Johnson is actually George Johnson.
All right,
George wouldn't forgive me if I saw him.
Forgive me if I got his name wrong. All right.
That being said, the firefighters have been besieged by requests for interviews and appearances and that sort of thing. So they need someone to control and respond to all of the various requests that have come in.
Because of this picture?
Solely because of this picture. I mean, they've been absolutely deluged by requests. I mean, I would think in my office alone I have 5,000 plus requests. Just
for these guys to talk about the emotion of the situation.
Right, to talk about the emotion and also to create different things, different paintings, T-shirts, hats,
recreation
everything
of the. All right, now we understand that. When you heard that there was going to be this big sculpture, were the guys happy?
Well, this was one of the, as I said, one of the many requests. Because this request came from the fire department, we gave it special treatment and we put it sort of towards the front of the list. We were in process with Varsity Ratner and the department in discussing the details of the license we may grant to them. Rather than completing the process with us of actually getting the license, they went forward without us and created the statue.
And the statue they created is a black, a Hispanic, and a white guy rather than 3 white guys.
Correct.
You got a problem with that?
Well, I don't know that there's a problem with it. I think that it's fair to say that there are legal principles involved, intellectual property rights that are attached to that photograph. There's copyright. It's protected under the Copyright Act. The firefighters also have publicity rights within the image.
Well, I don't know what any of this means. It was taken by a newspaper reporter on public property. Okay,
That's
so
right.
We just use the photograph. We don't have to pay you anything to use it.
Actually, you do.
No, we don't. We won't.
You pay a fee to a licensing company that we use. Not a large fee.
We're not going to pay you a dime for this. We're not going to pay anything. This is public domain. It ran in a newspaper, and that's where we took it from, and we're not going to pay anything. You could try to get it. You won't. But that's what I mean here. It looks to me like this is mercenary with you guys, and that offends me because this picture was taken on public property, where these guys spontaneously were putting this flag up in a spontaneous act of respect to their fallen comrades. And I applaud that. But now for you guys to try to cash in and control it, I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know what you're talking about, cash in. Where do you get the cash part of it?
Well, you want money to use that photograph. You just said you wanted money from the Fox News Channel to use that. We're not going to give you any money for that.
The money that is generated from the use of this photo, whether licensing to reproduce a poster, for example, or to create a statue, is all going to charity.
Well, that's fine, but make that clear. Still, you have no right, because it's public domain. I hope you know what that means, Counselor. Public domain means if it's in the public, if it's for a news capability and it's taken on public property, which this is, you're not going to get any money for it. You could try, but you won't.
Okay, I have to correct you on something. Number one, it's not a public domain photograph. It is not free to be used.
It was published in that newspaper.
It's not free to be used by the public and altered by private
commercial
industry.
Use.
For commercial use.
This is news.
For commercial use. We're discussing 2 different concepts. One is commercial use, one is newsworthy purposes. That's right. We cannot prevent you from using it in a newsworthy context.
Right. Okay. I can't put it on a T-shirt.
Correct.
That would be wrong. Now, it looks to me like the fire department said, hey, we're going to alter this so we don't have to get involved with the counselor and the 3 firefighters.
Not correct.
No?
They, as I mentioned earlier, they specifically came to us and requested a license, which we probably would have given them free of charge. Free of charge. But we would not have allowed them to change or alter the photograph.
So what's going to happen now?
Well, we've written a cease and desist letter to both the department and to Varsity Ratner, requesting that they get back to us by the 18th, Friday. If they do not do so, we may be going to federal court and seeking an injunction. Against
the sculpture, because and now what would you say to the federal judge? The federal judge is going to sit there and say, well, listen, this is just, they're not trying to make any money here. They're just trying to honor, and 12 black firefighters are killed, trying to honor the firefighters. What would you say?
Well, the argument would be that it's still in violation of the Copyright Act. It is not a newsworthy purpose, as we discussed earlier, editorial use, newsworthy purpose. It is used, it would more likely fall under the commercial aspect.
Why? They're not charging any money for it. It's just an honor.
They're not, it does not require you charge, in this case, say, admission.
I think the judge is going to say, hey, they have a right to put up whatever they want.
That's not true. You do not have the right to put up whatever you want.
What if they just altered the photo a little bit and didn't use the exact photo that you guys had?
Well, the standard that the court will use is whether or not this statue is substantially similar to the photograph.
Right.
In my opinion, it is. I bet you in your opinion it is too.
It is similar. There's no question about it. I don't think I'd do what you did. I think that if they want to make it black, Hispanic, and white, I think I'd let it go.
I would let it go too. However, They are free. Well, they are free to make a statute that is, if they want, racially inclusive or commemorative of the World Trade Center disaster. They're free to do that. They don't need me. They don't need a license from us.
Right.
If they want to do that in a way that is not infringing on this particular photo.
All right. Okay, Counselor, we'll let everybody know how it turns out, and thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next, Neil Cavuto will explain the Enron scandal to us. Getting messy. Right back.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx for everyday victories.
No time left for you. On my way to better things. I got no time.
Why do 63% of Americans think financial institutions aren't interested in helping them? Maybe because they aren't. With H&R Block Financial Advisors, now everyone can have access to smart financial advice. You get investments, financial services, and retirement planning, all on your terms.
Hey, Dan, how about that conference call tomorrow? It just doesn't feel right to me. Whatever happened to FaceTime? Somebody should go to Cleveland. I'll go.
This wouldn't have anything to do with Holiday Inn Express double points.
No, what? That's double, wow. Okay, I don't even know where that came from. When I get back from Cleveland, we'll talk.
In the Impact segment tonight, the Enron scandal continues to grow. Both the Justice Department and Congress are investigating why scores of Enron executives made millions while the company was imploding. With us now is financial genius Neil Cavuto. Is that all right, financial genius? Is that
Here we go. You start
that?
early. That's good.
You'll cop to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Cherry Keenan was here last week and said, basically said, well, it was the individual investors' fault for not going to the SEC website or some crazy thing.
She didn't say that.
Yeah,
I caught that. And you were, by the way, very mean to her.
I was mean to her?
Yes, you were.
Was she crying?
Well, I don't know, but I was watching. The gist of it is, obviously, this is a company that obviously had some shaky accounting principles.
Obviously.
But it does go back, and a point I agree with her on is that as you as an individual investor, if you cannot understand what you're investing in and what this company did with energy contracts, then you should do your homework.
Okay. Now, here's why that is a bogus argument.
Why is it a bogus argument? Did you invest in Enron?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Did you know what you were investing in?
Yes, I did, in the sense that I got...
You didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
didn't.
Listen to me for a minute. I got the quarterly reports from Enron. I actually looked at them, and I have them at home.
Before you invested?
No, while I was investing in there, they got the...
This is an important distinction, Bill.
Listen to me for a minute. Will you listen to me?
You didn't have it beforehand.
What a big mouth you are tonight.
You didn't have it beforehand.
Keep quiet. I bought the stock. I got the quarterly reports. The quarterly reports were misleading, as we know now, because Arthur Andersen put out something that wasn't true. Then all of a sudden in the year 2000, they said to me and every other stockholder, we're going to now change our earnings report going back to 1997. They changed the whole thing. None of that was available in their quarterlies or on the website. I'm telling you this was outright fraud, that the individual investor had no chance to know that for 4 years this company was putting out bogus earning reports, and that 3 of their Ken Lay, Jeff Skilling, and Lou Pei, while the company was declining, and they knew it, were making millions of dollars selling. Now, here's my question. When an insider like Lay sells, How soon after he sells does that come out on the website or in the public?
It can be weeks or months, but I got to get
right.
Bill.
That's
I got it.
right.
You can yell over me all you want.
That's right.
You can yell over me all you want. Bill, here's where you made your mistake and where scores of others did. You bought a stock in a company you did not know about, and you didn't investigate. But by the way, you're telling me now you got these statements as you're investing, whatever the heck that
I
means.
knew what the company was involved with.
Here's a rule of thumb for investors. If you cannot explain what you're investing in, descendants don't invest in it. Right. I'm not trying to condone what Enron did and what it did, but, Bill, it's an important distinction.
Don't blame the stockholders for this. This is fraud, outright fraud. Now,
Bill,
it's fraud.
No, you're making a very big distinction here. It's a difference between being a stockholder before you know the fact and after you know the fact.
Don't blame the stockholders for holding Enron stock. It's fraud. For 4 years, they misstated their earnings. That's fraud. Now,
so
people can decide now.
Wait a minute.
But I got another question.
No. Wait, so someone who doesn't know what a company is or just investing because a tip gate was at a party or something, that person is not doing his job?
That's a different thing. If they didn't know, they didn't know.
That's what you did.
All right, I'm an idiot, okay? But don't blame the rest of the smart stockholders because they put out fraudulent...
Smart and idiot alike were hurt by this.
That's right,
I'm just saying, but there were many smart investors, Bill, who never chose to invest in Enron precisely because...
I can't believe you guys do this. I can't believe you guys put the onus on the American people.
No. We're not looking for
scapegoats
here, Bill. Yeah, there were a lot of improprieties conducted at this company, but what you've said wrong again and again, each and every night I've heard you rail on about this, is ultimate responsibility. You can have government commissions look into this. You can have the SEC look into this. I didn't hear you screaming like this when Lucent was tumbling. I didn't hear you screaming like this.
Fraud in Lucent,
wait a minute. I didn't hear you when Computer Associates was tumbling.
If there's fraud, I want them dead.
No, wait a minute. Absolutely, and I agree with you. But the fact of the matter is investor beware. Do your homework.
All right,
know what's going on.
That's fine. You know, I don't believe that the investor can get the information that you need. You just admitted insider selling months after we know.
If you're remotely confused about what you're investing in, if you don't quite know what energy contracts and people swapping natural gas for oil and all these archaic
none of that was put out.
If you don't, well, that's what the company's about.
But it wasn't put out.
That's what was in there. But most people didn't know what the heck they were investing in.
That's wrong. They didn't put out the little side deals they were making.
Did you know what Enron was about? You know what Enron did? What?
With natural gas and technology. That's what they were into.
Energy contracts. Do you know what that means or does?
They did not put out, and this will be why these guys go to jail, the side deals that they were making, which were enriching the CEOs at the time they were making them. They did not show up on the quarterlies.
About partnerships that went. That's what's being investigated.
Correct. They didn't put those out, Neil.
Bill, I'm telling you, what's going to happen now in the future is a lot of companies now are going to have their books examined heavily by the government.
We got 30 seconds. Do you believe these guys should go to jail? Lay, Skilling, and Pay, and all of these
We don't know yet.
Do you believe they should, based on the evidence we want?
If they are guilty of lying and deliberately deceiving investors and profiting off deceit, yes, they should go to jail.
Good. How about Arthur Anderson putting out, destroying documents?
If they deliberately destroyed the documents as part of deceit, well, they actually claimed that they didn't know that happened until after the fact. We don't know if it's deliberate, but if that's the case,
we don't know that destroying documents is deliberate. What, does somebody just throw them out the window?
We don't know, Bill. We don't know yet.
I'm glad you're not investigating this, Neil.
Well, I tell you, Bill, I'm not going to make snap judgments on an investigation that's just beginning, and I'm not here to go ahead and make sure that the Enron executives
But you're happy the investigations are taking place.
I'm absolutely happy the executives.
Right.
But, Bill, be cautious here.
I am cautious.
Because you're making judgments
The
on
only thing I'm not
you
cautious about is putting you on this program. Neil Cavuto, thanks very much. Next on the rundown, some conservatives are angry with Fox News for hiring Geraldo and Greta Van Susteren. We'll hear that point of view in just a few moments.
Going to see my grandpa. We do lots of stuff. Sometimes we just hang out. One day we were sitting there and I said, "Grandpa, don't you work?"
No-load mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
On January 23rd, go back in time to the 80s.
When a problem comes along, you must whip it before the cream sets out too long. You must whip it when something's going wrong. You must whip it. Now whip it into shape. Shape it up. Get straight. Go forward. Move ahead.
From the creators viewers of That 70s Show, a new series, That 80s Show. Premieres Wednesday, January 23rd on Fox.
This is it, fellas. 50-inch flat panel display, surround sound, and now satellite TV.
Sweet, let's fire up the game, dude.
Not without this baby. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the new millennium. You see anything?
Not really.
No. You got an enhancer for that.
You can't get all your local stations through a satellite dish. Local channels automatically. Problem solved. Digital cable from AT&T Broadband.
You bite down on that, get in a filling.
I'm Leif Hansen. If you've been in an accident, you know what a hassle it is. That's where we come in. With Leif's, everything becomes very simple. From Salem to Longview, we make house calls. We'll give you an estimate, pick up your car, negotiate your claim, repair your vehicle back to pre-loss condition, and get it back to you, all without costing you extra. You've got my word on it.
Leif's Auto Collision Centers, the finest in collision repair.
Personal story segment tonight, criticism of the Fox News Channel from the right. As you know, some media pundits believe Fox tilts right. But with the recent hirings of Geraldo Rivera and Greta Van Susteren, there has been some angst in conservative circles. Joining us now from Washington is L. Brent Bozell, the president of the Media Research Council, a right-wing media watchdog group. All right, now, I don't understand this. I'm getting mail on it and all of that. I think it's good to hire Rivera and Van Susteren in the sense that you get more, a difference of opinion and philosophy, which makes things more exciting. Where am I going wrong?
Well, let me correct something first. Bill, I'm not angry at Fox. I've been Fox's #1 cheerleader, and I continue being its #1 cheerleader. What I wrote in my column is simply to report that there are an awful lot of conservatives who are disquieted by this move. Why? Because what brought Fox to the table, what has made Fox so spectacular in such a short period of time, is that you folks are different. You're different than the competition. You're different than CNBC. You're different than CNN. So why go hire the stars from CNN?
Well, because here's why. Here's why. We're different because we give the conservative point of view, which is not given on many other networks. You never hear pro-life people. You never hear pro-gun people. You never hear that. So that's why we're different, because there are more voices here. But we're not Rush Limbaugh in the sense that we're trying to convince you to be conservative. That's not what the Fox News Channel is here to do. We want to hear voices from the left. And by hiring a Greta Van Susteren and a Geraldo Rivera, that just gives us a wider range of opinion on the air. So why would conservative people be troubled by that?
Well, I think there's no problem at all with having a diverse set of opinions. I mean, Hannity and Combs, you've got that there already. I think the problem is that when a conservative looks at Fox, what a conservative finds so refreshing about Fox, and I don't know who gets the award for this, but somebody there has the ability to find fresh, new talent. Whether it's Hannity and Combs, whether it's you, whether it's so many other people that frankly, we'd never heard of before Fox Network came around. And you all have become stars in your own right. So I think, and what I'm hearing from all over the country is people saying, why are they hiring Bill Clinton's #1 apologist? Now, I'll say something very, very quickly about Geraldo Rivera. You know, he's kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when it comes to journalism. We can point out a lot of negatives about him. He's also has some incredibly good investigative reports.
Well, that's why they hired him. I mean, they hired him to do reporting, to go overseas, to dig up stories, and to be a flamboyant guy that is a provocateur and makes people discuss. But you see, here's the danger. Here's the danger. And I've gotten letters and things like that, and it disturbs me. There are fanatics on both the left and the right. You know that, Mr. Bozell. There are just fanatics,
right?
All right, who don't want to hear any point of view with which they disagree. And when they do, they get angry. So that they'll listen to a Rush Limbaugh because all they're going to hear is a conservative point of view on Rush's program. That's fine. But this is a news operation here, all right? And this is a news place where we have to be responsible, fair, and balanced. We have to present Ms. Van Susteren's point of view. Now, if you don't like it or you don't think she's fair, you're free not to watch it. But I want to get across to every conservative viewer out there that we want to be fair here, and it's worthwhile listening to the other point of view, unless Greta or Geraldo, if he does any anchoring, doesn't put on the other point of view. That would be an atrocity, and I myself would get on their case right away if they didn't do that.
But I will say, Bill, that thinking can get you into trouble from this standpoint. In a niche-marketed world, what has distinguished Fox is by being different from the opposition. If Fox makes itself no different from MSNBC, CNBC, or CNN, and well, let me tell you something else. I think people, and this is what I wrote in my column, I think people are underestimating Jamie Kellner of CNN. I know this gentleman, and
talented guy, no question. But I'll tell you, I think you're underestimating the conservative people. I think most conservative Americans are not fanatics, okay? They're conservative, but they're fair. And they want to listen to the other side to see if their initial point of view is stronger. And that's the beauty of the factor.
And I welcome it. I welcome it. I think the formats where you have debate, where you have an identified liberal like a Combs and an identified conservative like a Hannity is a wonderful thing to have. I'm still scratching my head and asking myself, what did Greta Van Susteren bring to the table that Fox needed?
She's smart. She's smart.
And she's the best journalist out there for Fox.
Well, I don't think so. We'll see if she's the best news analyst because she's going to be analyzing the news. But I say give her a chance. I say don't knee-jerk it because conservative Americans are open-minded, most of them, and I think that we need to give her a chance. I'll give you the last word.
Bill, I will agree with you. Paula Zahn was a classic example of that. She was not on Fox, but she had been on CBS. I thought she did a good job over Fox. So I'm not willing to jump to any major
give them a chance,
but there is an awful lot that's happening that has people scratching their heads.
We got to run. It'll be fine.
Thanks,
and we'll
Bill.
be right back as the factor continues.
Too many high-interest monthly payments? Why not pay them off with a second mortgage with a no-closing cost option from Ditech.com? Apply online now or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED. And there is no equity required. Ditech's second mortgage with a no-closing cost option can help you to consolidate your high-interest debts into one low monthly payment. It's smart money from Ditech.com. Apply online now or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED.
Eyes of a puppy dog, lips made for sin. You're not dreaming. I'm for real. We got a call.
Hello.
Louis?
Yeah?
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines for just $39 to $99 each way when you purchase by January 28th.
You are now free to move about the country.
To get around these parts, they say you need dogs. Good thing I got my Subaru Outback. With loads of cargo space, toasty seat warmers, and the added traction of full-time all-wheel drive, it's the perfect way to get around. Even when you're way out here. Now, as for the dogs, they're not much help if you ask me. Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Now you can get an APR as low as 2.9% on all 2002 Outback models. If you suffer from heartburn caused by acid reflux, get Gaviscon. Gaviscon tablets become smooth and creamy, forming a soothing protective barrier that helps keep acid down. Gaviscon, relief from acid reflux without a prescription.
We're going to get through this. I promise you.
How far would you go?
One of our agents may have been compromised.
To save your family.
Assemble it.
In all new 24.
What are they making Jack do?
Fox, Tuesday.
America trusts the Fox News Channel. From theaters of conflict to the halls of power, we've earned your trust, reporting all sides so that you can decide. An unprecedented commitment to provide you with hard facts and timely information. No spin, no agenda. Fox News Channel, the network America trusts, period.
Tonight, the interview with Secretary of State Colin Powell.
The cycle of violence has to be broken, and that's what all of our attention is focused on.
Tonight on Special Report with Britt Hume.
The Unresolved Problem segment tonight, at least 4 9/11 families have filed federal lawsuits against American and United Airlines and some security companies who work for them, charging they should have prevented the terror attacks. Joining us now from Columbus, Ohio, is Mary Schiavo, an attorney who is representing the families. So what are you going for here, Counselor?
Well, actually, we're going for discovery, and we're going for accountability. In families going to the fund, one of the biggest things they have to give up is they're not allowed to ask any questions. They're not even allowed to raise the issue of negligence, no cross-examination, no appeal, nothing. And the families that I represent, we're very interested in getting the truth and holding the negligent accountable for their negligence.
All right, so let me explain that. If you take the government's offer, the families do, then you cannot sue. They'll give you a settlement, and which the settlement itself is very controversial because there's all kinds of deductions on it and all of that. And we continue to ask the master of that to come on the program, and he continues to dodge us, which we don't like at all. And I hope you call this man in when the deposition, Ms. Schiavo, because I'd really like to know what this whole government deal is laid out. I think it's a very confusing situation. Am I wrong?
Well, it's a very confusing situation, and I think it's fraught with very, very many problems, not the least of which are several constitutional problems. It was passed, it was retroactive, it tried to affect the rights of the families of victims in retrospect, and it tried to cut off their rights to find out what happened, and it really overlooked the fact that in this country, in the way our jurisprudence system works, it is incumbent upon the families to pursue negligence and egregious negligence. The government has to go get Osama bin Laden, but the families have to find out about the negligence and hold the negligent accountable.
That's going to be very hard to do because everybody's dead, in the sense that we don't really know. I mean, we're theorizing that they had box cutters and that they did X, Y, and Z. We don't really know if they got the box cutters through the security, when you're passing through, or if it was an inside job. You don't know. How are you ever going to find that out?
Well, actually, there's an awful lot that was known well before September 11. There are at least 4 major government investigations showing that security was horribly lax, that knives, guns, hand grenades, weapons got through between 40 and 75% of the time. These 2 carriers involved had record numbers of security violations, the highest ever in 1998 through 2000. Each carrier had over 3.4 to 3.6 million in violations. They have terrible problems with their profiling system in that there's no internal there was no studies done to prove that it could actually catch terrorists, and yet we relied on this profiling system pretty much on the recommendation of the carriers. That right there is a mighty big shortcoming.
All right, so you're going to try to make the case in federal court that these people, American and United Airlines, had a history, and their security companies, had a history of not by because you did a book on this.
That's right.
By, tests and things like that, they continued to flunk the test time and time and time again.
That's right, and they had knowledge of their weaknesses because, not the least of which, is the United States government informed them repeatedly.
All right, where was the smoking gun? What smoking gun do you have that if you had to point to one piece of information, let us have it?
Well, I think it's the profiling system. They said that they did not have to do thorough searches or complete searches of any of the carry-ons or the baggage because they had a profiling system that could tell us who the bad actors were, who the terrorists and the criminals were, and the profiling system failed to catch any of them and continued to fail even after 9/11. The reason being is there's no scientific basis for that profiling system to prove that it works.
All right. Now, the 4 families that contacted you, are they looking, so you can only get as much as the insurance will allow on the airlines. I mean, they're looking for big dollars. I know you say they're looking for the truth and all this, but it seems to me that you already have the truth. I don't think there's anybody going to go say, hey, Ms. Schiavo, you're wrong. We had great security. I don't think anybody's going to do that.
Well, no, there's one step beyond that, because besides getting the truth about the negligence, we are asking the court to help us hold them accountable and to craft remedies that will require them to change. And actually, yes, I do have families who not only said we're not interested in the fund because we can't find discovery, but we haven't even discussed money. So it truly is finding and holding those accountable, and you have to do that through the court system in this country. Why all of a sudden we say that victims cannot use their constitutional right and their jurisprudence rights, they have to somehow go to the government and ask for taxpayers' dollars, is really kind of a shock. And the reason is, of course, we had a massive lobbying effort to try to cut off
I know,
rights.
but we must say, to be fair, that the families have a choice. They can hire you, or they can take the settlement. Counselor, let us know what happens. Thank you.
Sure
Directly
will.
ahead, how would Ralph Nader handle bin Laden, the Taliban, and world terror? He'll be here to tell us in a moment.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carol Ivana. To avert a crisis with India, the Pakistani government has launched a major crackdown on Islamic militants. Adam Housley has more from Islamabad.
Anywhere between 1,100 and 1,500 militants have been rounded up since Saturday night's speech by Pervez Musharraf. Now, not everyone likes the speech that he gave. In fact, one prominent cleric says he's sowing the seeds of an Islamic revolution. Now, the main focus really was on the madrasas, which are the religious schools that Musharraf says potentially could be starting Islamic terrorism. Now, 5 outlaw groups are also banned from operating here anywhere in Pakistan. 2 of them blamed for the Indian attack on the parliament back in December. Now, if they are arrested, they could be detained up to 3 months, and as you might expect, most of them are not too happy about it. President Musharraf's speech has helped ease tensions in this area. Now add to it a meeting between Prime Minister Vajpayee of India and the Prime Minister of China. China has historically backed Pakistan. But India says they're very hesitant about the words spoken by Musharraf. They want to see him crack down on cross-border terrorism. Late tonight, Pakistani leaders say they will not allow the 5 outlaw groups here in Pakistan to operate under new names. And they're also prohibiting any words against Musharraf's speech on Saturday night. In Islamabad, Adam Housley, Fox News.
More headlines at the top of the hour. The O'Reilly Factor continues after the break.
No time for a splitting headache. I needed strong pain relief fast. So I took control with Advil Liquid Gels. Liquid-filled capsules that relieve tough pain faster than Tylenol. And nothing, not Excedrin, not Aleve, nothing's proven stronger on pain than Advil Liquid Gels. My headache was gone. Fast.
You have the strength to get rid of pain fast. Take control. Take Advil. And to help you take control of your child's fever fast, there's Children's Advil and Infant's Advil.
Hey, if we get hurt! Whoa! Good thing we got that insurance.
What's that? What'd you say?
Pays you cash if you can't work.
Before that!
I said I'm glad we got that insurance.
Not that!
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
New on DVD, MASH, the movie that started it all.
What's the matter with her today? That's what being a soldier is all about.
Now, for the first time, the fully restored original version.
I demand an explanation. Somebody get that dirty old man out of this operating theater.
With an all-star cast, including Donald Sutherland, Elliot Gould, and directed by Robert Altman.
I'm Dr. Jekyll. This is my friend, Mr. Hyde.
MASH, special edition DVD. Own it today.
Amen.
Sure, the holidays are over, but it's not too late to open one of these. The compact Presario 1700T notebook. It's got hot swappable drives and the incredibly fast mobile Intel Pentium 3 Processor M for just $13.49. Plus, we'll give you a carrying case and an extra battery free. So give yourself one last holiday present to open before this deal closes. Call 1-888-271-1430 to get yours now.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the second personal story segment tonight. Ralph Nader and the terrorists. As a presidential candidate in 2000, Mr. Nader gained 3% of the vote and charged that both the Democratic and Republican parties are the same. His new book, Crashing the Party, Taking on the Corporate Government in an Age of Surrender, deals with the establishment and his assertions. Mr. Nader joins us now. All right, so you won the presidency. And right now, the Democrats and Republicans are pretty united on how to deal with the terrorism. Would you be doing something different?
Well, if I was inside, I'd have a lot of information I don't have. But I want to answer your question, your complicated question, forthrightly, in the blazing speed required. But indulge me one moment. For 30 years, our aviation safety group has been pushing for airline security against the resistance of the airlines, including toughening cockpit doors and latches, the way some foreign airlines have. Had that been done, it would have been no September 11th.
And you've been doing that for 30 years. And the reason they didn't do it was money?
Absolutely. Money and convenience. They like that door to swing open easily and so on and so forth. I mean, they want to mix with the flight attendants and so on. It's convenience. They want to go to the men's room and so on.
Yeah, but they can still do that.
They could, of course, but they went the path of least resistance. And mind you, this was after the hijacks to Cuba, remember, in the early 70s. So that one thing would have blocked the terrorists from using those planes as missiles. Now, on to your question. What I would have done after September 11th is invoke the doctrine of hot pursuit under international law to go after and apprehend the backers of the attackers. Number two, I would have focused on the domestic front by going after the wartime profiteers, going after the autocratic ideologues who think that this is a time to restrict our freedom of speech and dissent, and going after the corporate greedhounds who are swarming over Capitol Hill for bailouts, subsidies, giveaways, tax loopholes, and limited liability. I would also have not run a one-track government, I would have focused on domestic programs. I would not have ignored the needs and necessities of the American people in their health and safety and their economic rights.
All right, now let's take it one by one.
Okay.
Hot pursuit. That would you bomb? Would you bring in the military to do what they did to Afghanistan?
Well, here's where there are different views on military strategy. I would not burn down a haystack in order to try.
So you wouldn't use the bombers. You wouldn't use the bombers.
I would not burn down a haystack in order to look for a needle, and they still haven't found the needle, by the way.
No, but they removed the Taliban with very few U.S. casualties.
Yes, but you see, there's tremendous suffering going on, and I know it's not like the suffering of our people, because we're always more sensitive to our people, but far more civilians are dying, refugees, disease, death, freezing to death, starvation, kids. I mean, these are real human beings over there.
It sounds like you would not have used the bombing then.
I think I would have asked for the advice of some of the battle-scarred retired veterans, admirals and generals connected with the Center for Defense Information.
All right. Well, even so, you would have had to do something. If you take away the air power, which is what hurt some Afghan civilians, then what do? I mean, you have to get in there and win this. So you do it with ground troops?
But you haven't won it yet. You see,
well, we haven't gotten the two guys. We removed the Taliban, which was a big win for us.
Yeah, but the Taliban were harboring. They weren't the
but it's still a big win.
Yeah.
Still a big win with very few U.S. casualties.
I mean, it was a posse, Bill.
All right,
it's an electronic posse.
But you still haven't told me how you're going to get bin Laden, Omar, and remove the Taliban. How would you have done that?
You'd have to use military force. You'd have to invoke international law. You'd have to go after them.
But you don't want bombing.
Well, why bomb massive amounts of Afghanistan, which we're going to have to rebuild with taxpayer dollars?
Because it brought the Taliban down.
And not get them. But the Taliban, see, what we weren't smart enough in doing is pitting the Taliban's survival against al-Qaeda. You see, that's what we weren't smart enough to do, because we had a West Texas sheriff in the White House saying, we're going to get them, we're going to smoke them out.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier to get into Afghanistan than to get out. And what do we have now? Total warlordism. The thugs are back. Banditry, brutality. The interim government doesn't even control Kabul. And so we're getting mired more and more.
That's a good point. But I still don't know how you would have driven the Taliban from power and have bin Laden on the run. If you're not going to use air power, because you don't want civilian casualties, and you don't want massive U.S. casualties, what would you do? Send in 50,000 ground troops to do the job? You wouldn't have done that, would you?
No, I wouldn't. It wouldn't have required that.
Yeah.
Spies, bribes, and commandos. A very surgical effort. And saying to
Without
the Taliban...
the bombing?
Well, wait. You say to the Taliban, you choose. You want to stay in power, get out of the way.
But they said they did that.
No,
they did that in the beginning. They said, look, hand them over or we're going to destroy you.
But that's not the way to do it. You do it by giving them a week or two of negotiations face to face. I mean, you can't say to a regime, hand them over. Hand who over?
All right, now you got 3,000 dead people in the street. You got the whole anthrax thing. You got the country chaotic.
Which
and you, Ralph Nader, are going to give them 2 weeks?
No, but they gave them 4 weeks before they started the bombing, Bill. You see, they were getting ready. And while they were getting ready out of Washington, that's when they should have done it. And they would have basically got far more support, and they would have unmasked the Taliban. And by the way, there would have been a chance that the Taliban would have saved their neck and not go down with the al-Qaeda.
I doubt it, because they knew what was going to happen. They just didn't know the ferocity of the air power.
Everything is a riverboat gamble. And look where we are now.
Well,
you see?
We have some wins here, Ralph. You're making it sound like we don't. I mean, there's some problems, but we have a big win. The Taliban is out, and we lost less than a dozen guys.
True,
Come on.
But that wasn't the goal. The goal was
the goal was to remove the Taliban.
No, the goal was to break the network, the al-Qaeda network.
Well, you had to remove the Taliban first because they were harboring.
But it hasn't done. They've melted away. I mean, they only have a few hundred out of the thousands.
But the message that the other nations, Yemen, Somalia, Syria, was if you do this, you're going to be out of power.
The other answer to your question is both Colin Powell and Rumsfeld said, in terms of preventing future terrorism against the United States and not endanger our country by a boomerang process, they said poverty, brutality, despotism, and illiteracy and disease provide breeding grounds to tolerate this kind of massacre, this kind of terrorism. When are we going to put some flesh on that in terms of our foreign policy?
Do you know how much money we spend in humanitarian, sending it over to these countries, Ralph? Do you have any idea how many billions we send to these countries to try to get them in a humanitarian way?
It's less than 1%. of our GDP.
Yeah,
Lowest
that's
in the
an
Western world.
enormous amount of money.
No, most of it comes back in terms of contracts and includes military sales, largely to Egypt and Israel.
You know, you're taxing the American taxpayer at a rate that's punitive now. You're going to tax them more to get more money over
We're going to do what Rumsfeld said. And amazing. The other day he said, we are not spending our tax dollars wisely in the defense budget.
Sure.
Now, that's a great interview for you. What do you mean, Don Rumsfeld? Spell it out, you know?
All right, we have 1 minute left. You and I do agree on one thing, on the Enron situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I put these guys in jail. I mean, sure, let's give them a trial and all of that, but I mean, you can't be blaming the consumer for this.
Absolutely. This is a supermarket of corporate crime, fraud, and abuse. It could lead to campaign finance reform, to tougher corporate crime laws, to cracking down on phony accounting firms like Arthur Andersen.
Oh, it's outrageous.
And to improve the quality of food in our jails by sending corporate criminals there. And
so many people had these in their 401ks and their mutual funds and all of that.
Unbelievable.
I mean, and these guys were
sold off, made $1 billion when they sold their stock. That's one of the themes of my book, Crashing the Party. Too much power and wealth in too few hands, people losing control. We've got to assert sovereignty of the people.
This could be a good thing, this Enron thing. If they prosecute it
Absolutely.
correctly, this could be good.
It could be very good, and it'd be good for the thesis of my book, which is we've got to have the reassertion of the sovereignty of the people over our elections, over our government, and over our society.
America. All right, Ralph Nader, there he is, everybody. Always provocative. Thanks for coming in, Ralph. Always
Thank you, Bill.
All right, next up, the movie Black Hawk Down. Are the bad guys all black? Yes, they are. That means charges of racism. Right back.
David Lee Miller. Great Malkai.
Amy Kellogg.
William Largenet. Steve Harrigan. Fox News. Internet.
It's kind of like your plumbing medics. You got an overflow problem, you need us out there now. Rescue Rooter. It's a plumbing emergency, and we're the rescue operation. Rescue Rooter. We're on the way. I like to practice. Timing's important. Get there in under 60 minutes. That's our goal. Get in, get wet, get out. Seen some bad things. Rescue Rooter. We don't charge extra on weekends. Rescue Rooter. We take pride in helping people. That's what it's all about.
I'm Leif Hansen. If you've been in an accident, you know what a hassle it is. That's where we come in. With Leif's, everything becomes very simple. From Salem to Longview, we make house calls. We'll give you an estimate, pick up your car, negotiate your claim, repair your vehicle back to pre-loss condition, and get it back to you, all without costing you extra. You've got my word on it.
Leif's Auto Collision Centers, the finest in collision repair. Keep the dog with Doug and Tim.
How big is Round Table's Big Vinny Pizza? Let's go to the Mondo meter.
Mondo meter.
According to the Mondo meter, one Big Vinny equals 4 cheeseburgers, plus 6 drumsticks, plus 5 tacos, plus 12 nuggets.
Oh, Mondo happy.
I had no idea Mondo could talk.
Get a Big Vinny and feed a small army for just $10.99. Only at Round Table.
Hi, Ellie at City Liquidators, where our selection is huge and so is our inventory. Like this chest of drawers, $49. How about this curio? $59. His wardrobe, $99. We have a 3-piece set for $68. Swivel leather rocker, $169 with ottoman. Park bench, $39. Remember, you'll always save money at City Liquidators.
In the back of the book segment tonight, we recently interviewed Owen Gleiberman, the film critic for Entertainment Weekly, who said Black Hawk Down is a racist film because it does not humanize the villains, all of whom are black. Mr. Gleiberman said he wanted to see the Somalis put into some kind of context. Joining us now is the producer of Black Hawk Down, Jerry Bruckheimer. Does he have a point?
No, not at all. We went over there on a humanitarian mission. That's what our goal was, to feed the people. All started with the cover of Time magazine where Audrey Hepburn was holding a starving baby.
Right.
So our government, Bush, went in there with 20,000 Marines and food to feed the people and protect the people from the warlords who were stealing the food. We had one warlord, Adid, who was taking all the food from the people and buying guns. We stopped him. We created a truce. The minute we left, Marines pull out, he starts all over again. So, and he killed and skinned 24 Pakistani peacekeepers.
UN peacekeepers.
Right.
All right. There's no question he's a bad guy. I mean, everybody knows that. Nobody's going to stick up for a deed. There's no question that our government panicked after these guys got chewed up in Black Hawk Down. They shouldn't have. But all Gleiberman was saying was, look, if you had a couple of scenes, give me a couple of reasons why they were motivated to do this, then it would have taken the racist off it, because right now all you got is white guys shooting down black guys. No?
I don't know if you saw the movie, because the first scene in the picture, the second scene in the picture, is a conversation between one of the supporters of Aidid, who's very articulate, very smart, and gives you the Somali point of view. Then we have another scene in the movie with one of the kidnappers of one of our soldiers, and he's very articulate and smart and tells you what he feels about us being there.
So why the racist rap? I mean, it's not just from Gleiberman. A few others have said it as well. What do you think motivated that?
I have no idea.
Political correctness
I guess. But A, they didn't read Mark Bowden's book, which the movie's based on.
I read the book.
Well, it doesn't go in. It goes into some of the Somali point of view, which we
very
covered,
little, because Bowden couldn't get it. He would have been shot dead.
Well, he went over there and he had to leave. They chased him out of the country.
You know, I mean, I read the book, but it wasn't lacking. I knew why Bowden couldn't get it, because it would have killed him.
That's right.
And plus, you know, I'm not big on moral equivalency here.
Right.
I mean, I've said many times on the factor that, yeah, all right, sidebars are okay to tell what Al-Qaeda is and why they exist and that they brainwash people, but don't tell me every time something happens, I got to tell you why bin Laden does what he does. He's an evil son of a bitch.
You're absolutely right. And so was Aidid. And don't forget, Aidid went to military school with the Italians, was trained by the Russians, had $1 billion of arms over there.
Right. So, but again, you think it's just political correctness driving this racism charge, or what?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people don't like our military operations around the world, and it so happens it's a black nation, and they went after us for it.
All right. Are you running into any Hollywood nonsense? Because Hollywood's the capital of political correctness. They're the capital of touchy-feely, don't offend minorities.
We certainly find some of the backstabbing in Hollywood about this picture. They don't say it to our face. But
really? Have you heard it?
Yeah, sure. Of course I've heard it. You know, that the picture's too violent, that the picture is partially racist, but it's not.
Do you expect to hurt you in the Academy Award category because of the controversy here?
I hope not, but we never know, do we?
Well, you know, you're a savvy guy. Do you think you're going to be hurt?
That's possible.
Yeah?
Could be.
When you made this movie, were you aware that you may have been stirring up a little controversy, or did it come out of the blue?
It always comes out of the blue. You never know. But when you take something, a subject as powerful as this, you always create controversy.
All right. So when you were reading the script, you didn't say to yourself, hey, you know, we might get accused of being racist here because we don't have enough of the other side in here.
I get accused of all kinds of things on every picture I make. I mean, Pearl Harbor was accused of all kinds of things by the critics.
Yeah, I accused you of some stuff.
That's right. So there you go. So,
but it was more artistic stuff than it. But
right.
this is virulent. You know, when what's the R word? You know, that's a. So when you were reading the script, I want you to be honest with me. Did you ever think, hey, this might happen?
Never.
Never one time.
By the way, I've only heard it from two people. We heard the New York Times and Owen were the only two people we've heard it from. And all the other reviews, and we've gotten some sensational reviews, which is really unusual for me.
You're an action picture guy.
That's right, but still, for Time Magazine, Newsweek, Rolling Stone, I mean, major publications loving this picture. We made a number of top 10 lists, more than I've ever been involved in any of our pictures.
Yeah.
So for me, that's very exciting for the critics, the major critics, loving this picture.
Well, it opens wide on Friday, right? That's right. Is what they say in the showbiz, opens wide?
Really wide.
All right, good. Mr. Bruckheimer, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Next, we'll wrap things up. The most ridiculous item of the day. You have to see this. You have to see this in some of your mail.
Walgreens has thousands of locations across America. From the corner of Elm in Maine to the corner of Montgomery and Pine to our newest location, Walgreens.com. You can manage your health care on America's healthiest website because America's favorite corner drugstore is now located on the corner of your desk. Register online or come into Walgreens Pharmacy and we'll do it for you. Walgreens.com. Another reason Walgreens is the pharmacy America trusts.
I had a starvation diet once.
Or the meat diet, the one where you eat just meat?
I diet sometimes, but only in moderation.
The low-fat diet. It was all pureed food, the puree diet.
The bean diet.
The corn juice diet. That one was rough. I don't know what I was thinking.
These people found a sensible way to lose weight. A recent study by a major university found that having a bowl of Kellogg's Special K or Kellogg's Smart Start for 2 meals a day for 2 weeks could help you lose up to 6 pounds.
I feel great, and I didn't have to eat like a rabbit.
Hey, Dan, how about that conference call tomorrow? Just doesn't feel right to me. Whatever happened to FaceTime?
Somebody should go to Cleveland. I'll go.
This wouldn't have anything to do with Holiday Inn Express double points.
No, what? That's double, I don't, wow. Okay, I don't even know where that came from. When I get back from Cleveland, we'll talk.
At Cheap Tickets, you save money every time you fly. But that's not all. Because at Cheap Tickets, you can choose your airline, choose your schedule, and choose your discount fare. With Cheap Tickets, you can get up to 40% off on airfares right now. Call or log on now, because today's prices may not be available tomorrow. Call 1-888-OK-CHEAP or log on to cheaptickets.com. Cheap Tickets. The choice is yours.
Tonight, the interview with Secretary of State Colin Powell.
The cycle of violence has to be broken, and that's what all of our attention is focused on.
Tonight on Special Report with Britt Hume.
Tonight,
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is Your World.
when you want to get up on Wall Street, get down to business with Neil Cavuto.
What does it mean for the economy?
Why bet your bottom dollar when you can cash in with his common sense approach? Your World with Neil Cavuto.
We have got you covered.
The best business report on television, period.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. The Fox Saturday night satire program Mad TV did a send-up of the Factor this week. It was very funny. Here's a clip.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching. Well, the ratings are in, and once again, the O'Reilly factor is #1. That's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Now, as many of you know, Talking Points believes there are reasons why viewers are flocking to the factor, and the reason, quite simply, is me. Why? I'm tough. Larry King, he's not tough. Tough on the eyes, maybe. Chris Matthews is tough to listen to.
Now, we can't show you any more because the language is a bit over the top. But congratulations to Michael McDonald for a nice piece of work. It was ridiculous, but it was hilarious. And finally tonight, the mail about our interview with the PLO representative, Alice Buxbaum, New Rochelle, New York. The interview with Mr. Rahman was very disturbing. There's no doubt that the ship full of weapons was heading for the PLO. Whether Arafat knew about it or not is not the point. The PLO must stop supporting terrorists or there will never be peace. John Blumberg, Clinton, New York. Bill, you overpowered the PLO spokesman. I wanted to hear what he had to say. Ease up. No way, Mr. Blumberg. When somebody comes on the factor and starts denying the obvious, I have to break in and closely question that individual. Propaganda is not welcome in the no-spin zone. Adam Kramer, Bayonne, New Jersey. Bill, kudos for that interview. Once again, you proved you have the best BS detector in the business. BS meaning, of course, baloney slice. About the liberal criticism that the factor is unfair in its political analysis. Liz Kingston, Guman, Oklahoma. Steve Rendell is right, O'Reilly. You are obsessed with the Clintons. What's next? Stalking? Carol Broda, Roseburg, Oregon. Bill, Rendell is wrong. You consistently present all views unlike the other networks. Lucy Davis, Kansas City, Missouri. Rendell is right. Your spin about the Clinton scandals is ridiculous. There were no scandals. 2 words, Ms. Davis, Mark Rich. Caroline Young, Houston, Texas. Where was Rendell during the Clinton years? If his organization Fairness and Accuracy is aptly named, then he should have no problem with O'Reilly going after those in power who lie and deceive. George Natzinger, Westchester, Ohio. Rendell's argument is if you attack Democrats, then you're a McCarthyite. You, Bill, obviously don't think that way, so they're going to come after you. Loretta and Ed Martinson, Trinity, Texas. O'Reilly, you may think you know it all, but you are becoming too aggressive. We are shouting at you. Cut out giving everyone a hard time. Well, you're not going to like tonight's program. Mark Cleffish, Plainfield, Illinois. Bill, you're a hero in my opinion. I don't like all of your opinions, but you take the heat and show things through a prism that is honest and balanced. Well, I appreciate that, Mark. And Tom Whitmore, Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Hey, Bill, when you visit L.A., what's with all the makeup? Hey, Tom, I wear makeup every day I'm on the air. I'm a light-skinned guy. There are big, hot lights all over the place in the studio. No makeup, no face. I'd look like Casper the no-spin ghost, which I probably do anyway. But there's no makeup on the website. Now, I know this is going to sound like self-promotion, but, you know, I got to tell you, it's the 14th of January. In 1 month, it's February 14th, Valentine's Day. Now, last year, we had hundreds of requests for autographed O'Reilly Factor books. Couldn't get them done on time. Couldn't get them out for Valentine's Day. So if you want those, go to the website, the No Spin Zone books. We'll sign them for you. Be happy. You got plenty of time now. We're not going to make it if the whole thing crashes. We had a little problem at Christmas time. Advance, advance, advance. Valentine's Day. All right? How about emailing us with some pithy comments? O'Reilly at foxnews.com. O'Reilly at foxnews.com. Name in town, name in town, name in town if you wish to opine. All right? That is it for us today. As always, we thank you for watching The Factor. I'm Bill O'Reilly. To see you again next time.